So the demon takes advantage of the moment to land a blow, something that does not happen thanks to Tusk's shield. Because of the commotion, Jinwoo notices and asks her what she is trying to do. She kneels before him, mentioning this boy, and he asks her to say whatever it is. And the demon answers, yes, whatever it is. With that, Jinwoo asks her to obtain the entry permit, while at the same time Tusk lifts her up so that she cannot move. The demon, for her part, replies that she has that permit stored within her clan. Now at last he lets her live. She herself will give it to him, and not only that, she also knows where those from the other upper floors are, but only if he assures her that both her clan and she herself will continue alive, she will guide him to those places. Upon hearing this, Jinwoo realizes that this was the reason no monster would disappear after being eliminated. Although the problem itself is that he cannot trust her. Thus he begins to emit a murderous aura, and while he watches her with a piercing gaze, she replies that she is not lying to him at all. So this boy accepts it, calms down, mentioning that the permit will not harm them. The demon thanks him, but then he asks a question. What are you? She introduces herself as Esil, the eldest daughter of the Radiru. But Jinwoo was not asking that. She does not quite grasp the idea. So our pioneer starts thinking. Meanwhile, the flying ant that arrived on the island had a feast with all the inhabitants, and now returning with that, he thinks about obtaining information from the system different from Baruka's. Then he asks her if she also hears a voice in her head that tells her to kill humans. Esil, puzzled, replies that no, although what she does here is another order, which is to defend the place where they are. Upon hearing that, our protagonist questions her about since when. The demon answers that since they arrived here. That surprises our Jinwoo, who asks where they were before. Esil replies that they were in hell, but one day they suddenly appeared here. Then Jinwoo asks what they were doing there. At that moment, Esil's eyes widen, and with great difficulty she answers that they were preparing for a war. Jinwoo asks, against whom? The demon mentions that it is an enemy so strong that it required gathering all demons. At that point, our system glitches even more, saying only that the dialogue has been interrupted for exceeding the permitted information limit, and out of nowhere, Esil faints. Jinwoo manages to hold her, knowing that he will no longer be able to get more information out of her. Meanwhile, at a meeting in the Hunters Association, our supervisor Go Gun-hee presents the damage report of the salted ants, as well as the hunt carried out by a single one on the peripheral island of Japan, where there were almost 300 civilian casualties. More than 100 hunters were deployed, of whom 4 rank E died, 1 rank C, and 1 rank B, but later the rank A hunters who arrived managed to eliminate it. With that, President Go Gun-hee classifies the winged ant as a rank A monster, which Gun-hee confirms, since that coincides with the opinion of his team that analyzed the corpses. Then the president of the Hunters Association, considering that the island that suffered that attack is 120 kilometers from Jiju Island, and also that if the ants managed to fly farther, they could sweep across the entire south of the peninsula, warns them that he will request help from Japan as soon as possible. At the same time, they will notify neighboring countries so that they are alert. Having said that, and above all, the 4th raid on Jiju Island is inaugurated. Now we return to our protagonist, who, upon hearing Esil's apologies because she does not know why she suddenly fainted, tells her not to worry. She then asks if he is worried about her, which Jinwoo in a certain way confirms, making the demon blush. Then Jinwoo asks if they are already close to their destination. Esil confirms it, pointing to the castle of the Radiru clan. Upon arriving there, she, in the company of our protagonist, makes her father panic, asking his daughter if she does not see the soldiers hiding in his shadow. Upon hearing that, Jinwoo realizes that this demon is quite perceptive. But then the leader of the Radiru clan sends the entire army, thinking that Jinwoo deceived his daughter. Jinwoo very calmly explains that he made a promise to Esil, that they only have to give him the entry permit, and he will not harm them. Upon this, the leader thinks it over, since he had heard that someone defeated Vulcan and Metis, and considering that, it is impossible that he defeat him. So he sighs and accepts the deal. He hands over the entry permit, and Jinwoo confirms that it is genuine. Then, pulling Esil close to him, he informs her father that he is going to take her with him, which makes poor Esil turn even redder. The father looks extremely angry, but Jinwoo calms him down, emphasizing that he only wants her to guide him, promising that he will protect her with his life. With this, her father agrees, which makes the demon very happy. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a guild master, who is also a rank S hunter, is watching how the winged ant is being dissected, although he cannot see well, because his assistant tells him that he has something urgent. Now we return to our black-haired protagonist, who has finally arrived at floor 89 and is about to go up to floor 90, also telling us that Igris and Tusk have leveled up. For her part, Esil, seeing her wine, realizes that it has spoiled, since she planned to offer it as a tribute to some leader of another clan. Jinwoo, upon seeing this, asks her to take him back to her home. She refuses this since she knows that floor 90 and above are ruled by the high nobility, who for obvious reasons are also stronger, thus recommending to Jinwoo that he obtain the permits through dialogue. At that, our protagonist opens his eyes and asks her if they would have negotiated with him if he were weaker than them. She makes a surprised face, because now she understands. Jinwoo mentions that this is how things work, and he is aware that they fight against other nobles for territory. Therefore, he will make the Radiru clan become number one. Esil softly corrects him, but also questions his reason for leaving her entire clan alive. And here our Jinwoo really goes too far, because he calmly reveals that he likes her. This makes Esil blush intensely, while at the same time her wine falls. Now our protagonist becomes thoughtful, remembering Jaina as well, since apparently he feels that he gets along well with people who are missing a screw. But worried about the demon, he tells her that she can go home now, because just as she says, the enemies will be stronger, so she only has to tell him where those permits are, and he will manage alone. This annoys Esil, asking him if she is that useless. Jinwoo denies this, but he knows it will be hard for her. Even so, this purple-haired demon firmly tells him that she will accompany him until the end, because she wants to see what he is capable of, which Jinwoo accepts immediately. And so, just as Esil said, starting from floor 90, the difficulty skyrockets, because the quantity and strength of the monsters have no point of comparison. Even so, he continues, ascending floor by floor. Meanwhile, in the Hunters Guild, Choi informs Chairman Go that all Rank S hunters of Korea have been summoned to the 4th Jiju raid, where they will also cooperate with neighboring countries, and it is more than certain that soon they will have a meeting, since the strategy of the raid must be debated. He is sure that hunters from one of the major guilds will attend. Now at last we return to our protagonist, who is finally on floor 100. But although they walked for quite some time, they did not find anyone. Then, out of nowhere, they feel a powerful presence. This figure quickly passes near them, stopping atop some structures, and now we see that it is the demon monarch Baran, mounted on a wyvern. He realizes that not everyone in this castle is a demon. However, here the demon monarch summons his troops, surrounds Jinwoo, and they launch the attack. Esil, very worried, warns him that they are surrounded. But for our protagonist, this poses no problem at all. He summons his shadows over a wide area and makes them emerge from the ground, thus eliminating a large portion. But finally, Tusk is the one who eliminates all of them, astonishing the demon, who did not know that Jinwoo had this way of fighting. Even so, considering that his enemy is Baran, the demon monarch, she doubts whether to side with Jinwoo or Baran. At that moment, Baran fires a lightning bolt into the sky, pulverizing several shadow soldiers, and is about to eliminate Esil as well, when suddenly our protagonist arrives and saves her without much effort. He knows that those lightning bolts are not normal, and if Baran keeps using them on his army, he will run out of mana very soon. Thus he runs at high speed, uses stealth, and prepares to cut the wyvern's wings. However, Baran stops him easily and slams him into the ground, also attacking him with guided lightning bolts. Thus Jinwoo summons Tusk and Igris, the great orc, and with the help of the sphere they manage to destroy the lightning. At the same time, our protagonist, using Igris' sword, cuts off the wyvern's head, thus removing the demon monarch's flying advantage. Raising his blade, he tells Baran that this is better, because his neck hurts from looking up so much, and if the fight had continued like that, he could have gotten a stiff neck. But Baran does not care at all and approaches menacingly. Meanwhile, at the meeting of Japanese and Korean hunters, the interpreter Hanekawa from the Desenbane Guild of Japan introduces her guildmaster, Goto Ryuji, a rank S hunter. The president knows that the Desenbane Guild is one of the largest guilds in Japan, with 11 rank S hunters, being the second largest in all of Asia. Then the interpreter begins to speak, thanking them for accepting the proposal for a joint operation. Goguni also thanks them, since initially they had requested help from them. Thus, they begin to go into more detail, because there are two things that will be key to this operation. The first is their lifespan, since they grow rapidly after hatching, but only live 1 year, so if they take care of the queen, those that remain alive will die naturally within a year. Now, the second key point is their behavior, since according to the 3 past raids, the ants have been attracted to the strongest enemies with the greatest magical power. Therefore, the strategy they will propose takes advantage of this characteristic, with the 11 rank S hunters of the Dizenbane Guild acting as bait for the ants. Meanwhile, the Korean unit will defeat the queen. Concerned, Choi warns there are thousands of ants, so Goto Ryuji replies that according to analyses done with artificial intelligence, if they only need to distract them, there will be no problems at all. Thus, upon finishing explaining the entire proposal, President Go-Gunhee mentions that he agrees, being aware that Korea cannot provide 10 rank S hunters. Returning now to the intense battle, Jinwoo manages to eliminate some of Baran's soldiers, while Tusk withstands the Demon Monarch's lightning. But even so, before such power, Igris takes advantage of an opening to attack, yet he is eliminated, just like Iron. And although our protagonist also approaches him, Baran blocks his fatal blow, managing to grab him by the head. However, our protagonist does not waste time. He summons his best shadows, causing Iron and Tusk to grab the Monarch from behind, while Igris stabs the demon's arm with his sword. But despite all this, Baran fires a lightning bolt, eliminating the 3 shadows and forcing Jinwoo to retreat slightly, noticing that he also ran out of mana. Even so, he draws another dagger and charges at Baran, leading both of them into an extremely frenetic battle. Yet in an instant, the Demon Monarch sends Jinwoo flying, and he also loses his daggers while repelling that attack. Baran tries to take advantage of this opening, but Jinwoo barely stops him with his hands, truly realizing that this demon has far too much strength. And worse still, Baran, as the despicable being that he is, prepares another lightning bolt. Our boy knows that he has no time to dodge. Then Esil intervenes, throwing her weapon at the demon, thus changing his target for just a second. That moment is seized by Jinwoo, who now, with all the strength he has built up, plus the ruler's authority, grabs his opponent's arms with such force that he breaks them. And before Baran can even fire his lightning, Jinwoo delivers a tremendous punch to his jaw, also destroying his head, finally defeating the Demon Monarch at last. And the system confirms it. With everything now calmer, our protagonist tells Esil to return to her father and tell him that, from now on, the Radiru clan is #1. Esil, in tears, thanks him, but is even more relieved that our protagonist is safe, also taking the opportunity to clarify that it is not Radisu, but Radiru. Then, our protagonist realizes that he has obtained the purified blood of the Demon Monarch, and since he already has everything he needs to create the Elixir of Life, he prepares to do so. And although he sees that the success rate depends on the intelligence level, he calms down and still creates the elixir, successfully crafting it. Not only does he obtain 1, but 6 elixirs of life. At the same time, Iron, ever so ingenious, brings him Kaiser's corpse. Jinwoo praises him for being very intelligent and thus extracts his shadow, giving it the same name it had in life. Then, by destroying a dark rune, he obtains the Shadow Exchange ability, Rejoicing, because this means he can switch places with his shadow soldiers wherever they are. Esil tells him that they will hold a party in his honor, but Jinwoo apologizes and bids farewell, telling her that her castle is too far for a detour, so they will meet again if fate allows it. Seeing him already fading away, Esil wants to tell him something, but sooner rather than later she realizes that Jinwoo is already gone, thus shattering her hopes of some possible love. Meanwhile, our black-haired protagonist realizes that he actually swapped places with that patrol soldier, and since it takes 3 hours to use it again, he takes a very stylish leap and summons Kaisel, soaring through the skies of his city. Meanwhile, at the Hunters Association, the president explains the plan to Choi Jong-in, also asking if he has been able to contact the hunter Sung Jin-woo, to which our favorite blonde replies that he has not yet. Switching to another panel, we see Baek Yeon-ho, yes, the president of the White Tiger Guild, saying goodbye to his friend, because after this 4th raid on Jiju Island, he might not return alive. And as for his friend, he is a rank S hunter of the healer type, and his name is Min Byung-gyu. Thus, we return to our protagonist, who has just arrived at the hospital where